This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Legal first. A Halifax man is found liable under Nova Scotia's Intimate Images Act.
Closing soon. Acadia University pulls the plug on its aging pool.
And growing solutions. Researchers work to strengthen maritime corn crops.
Sunshine in the mix for Tuesday, but a chance for flurries rolling into the afternoon and evening as the active pattern continues with a larger system looming for Thursday. All the details coming up.
Good evening. A Halifax man has been found liable under Nova Scotia's Intimate Images and Cyber Protection Act. It's the first reported case under the act in the province.
Now, the complainant is speaking out publicly for the first time to share how this experience has impacted her life. The CBC's Selena Alders reports.
Corey Lester has been ordered to pay his ex-girlfriend $49,000 in damages and costs under the Intimate Images and Cyber Protection Act. This case is setting a precedent as the first of its kind in Nova Scotia. Lester was found liable for posting a nude image of Larissa Williams without her permission on an escort site. He also published her name, location, and phone number. Williams was made aware of the incident when she got a text from an unknown number asking if she was taking on new clients. After a couple minutes of texting back and forth, she was led to a website meant for advertising sex work.
Someone that I had loved and trusted had deeply betrayed me in a way I never could have imagined.
Lester was initially charged criminally, but that was dropped due to a lack of evidence.
It's a relatively new crime that we're learning about and that police are learning to investigate, so it's going to pose challenges. But it's always disappointing when someone is harmed, someone is the victim of a crime, and they can't get justice through the criminal justice system.
Along with damages, Lester was ordered not to contact Williams for 12 months. Justice Joshua Arnold wrote in a court decision that Lester did not accept responsibility and his actions were in an effort to harass and intimidate Williams following the demise of their romantic relationship.
That sense of safety that I had prior to this it's gone.
Williams says she often worries about whether she and her young son might be targeted at home given the personal information that was shared online. Prior to posting the image, Lester had been investigated for criminal harassment against Williams, but he was not charged. Williams says she was inspired to tell her story by the 6 women in Nova Scotia who were killed by their partners in just 3 months.
If we were sending a clear message at this stage, maybe it wouldn't escalate and become more severe and in some cases resulting in the loss of life.
She wants others to know that there are avenues to pursue justice and there are people that want to help. Selena Alders, CBC News, Halifax.
The captain and deckhand who died when their fishing boat capsized off the eastern coast of Nova Scotia last week have been identified. The captain who died was John Allen Baker, a veteran fisherman, and the deckhand was Philip McGuinness. The other 2 deckhands on board have been released from hospital. The vessel had been fishing for silver hake before the capsizing, and it overturned while returning with a full catch on board. The Joint Rescue Coordination Center has said that rescuers found 3 crew members last Thursday night, one of whom was unconscious. The 4th was located in a life raft Friday morning and was unresponsive. The Transportation Safety Board is investigating.
Premier Tim Houston is eliminating the agency created almost 30 years ago to get partisan politics out of government communications. According to CBC sources, Communications Nova Scotia will be dissolved, with some staff being reassigned to work directly within government departments. When it was created in 1996, CNS was mandated to ensure government communications were factual, objective, and nonpartisan. NDP leader Claudia Chender says that will no longer be the case with all government communications and publications.
The implications for the public are that they will have a harder and harder time than they already do getting any objective sense of what is going on in their government.
There's no word on if or how many people will lose their jobs as a result of the changes.
Meanwhile, Premier Houston will be joining his counterparts from across the country for a trade mission to Washington, D.C. this week. The Premier's office says the delegation plans to meet with U.S. political and business leaders to remind them of the benefits of free trade to both countries. In 2023, Nova Scotia exported $4.4 billion worth of goods to the U.S. and imported more than $680 million. Top goods sent to the U.S. were tires, fish and prepared seafood, forest products, and plastics.
Acadia University has announced it is permanently closing its swimming pool and cutting its varsity swimming program. The university says the pool is in major disrepair, but many in the swimming community are devastated. Nicholas Sagan reports.
It felt like kind of a piece of me almost leaving. It was very sad.
Adam Deutsch says the news left him reeling. He found out this morning that the pool he swam in for years with the Acadia varsity swim team is closing for good.
People are really, just frustrated with the situation, a lot of sadness, and just, really a lot of devastation across the whole community.
Acadia University announced the decision to close the pool and cut the swim team on Monday, saying a recent engineering report revealed the pool is on its last legs and is running an annual deficit of $400,000.
It's got leaks, water quality issues, filtration issues. The cost to repair it is in the millions, and that's just to prolong the life of what really is not a great facility anyway.
The pool is set to close on June 15th, leaving the student athletes on the swim team wondering what comes next.
Myself personally, I don't want to transfer. I swim because of these people and my family here, and I can't imagine myself swimming anywhere else but here with Acadia Swimming.
Collins says the team was told over the weekend.
None of us expected that to happen on a Sunday afternoon, midterm week, 1 week away from reading week, just under 2 weeks away from our championship meet. None of us expected this to happen.
One of the hardest things I've ever had to do was to tell these students that they wouldn't have a team anymore.
This advocate says the loss of the pool will have a ripple effect on other programs. The next closest indoor public pool is a 30-minute drive.
Learn to Swim program, the Smile program. There's so many other activities that go on in that pool beyond the Acadia varsity swim team or the Wolfville Tritons. It's going to have a huge and significant impact on that local community.
Alumni and advocates say their goal is to keep the Acadia pool open until a new one can be built in the community. Nicholas Sagan, CBC News, Halifax.
And Ryan Snoddon with us now to talk weather.
Quite a snowy weekend there, Ryan.
Yeah, some digging out for most of the province, especially down towards the south and west, where we had 10 to 15 centimeters, kind of a widespread 5 to 10 through the metro area back towards the valley, and then some flurries for Monday as well. But Tuesday quieter, still some flurries in through the Cape Breton region, as well as Digby, Yarmouth, Shelburne, perhaps even up into Annapolis Royals. We will see our next trough starting to roll in, and that will spark some flurries. As you can see, by Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday evening, there they are being picked up by the model. Those will become more prevalent, more dominant overnight Tuesday into early Wednesday. Could see a couple of centimeters locally to dust off with the broom by Wednesday morning. Wednesday's quieter with some sunshine, and then we are watching our next system. This is going to be the major system of the week. Thursday morning, we'll likely get the commute in. Thursday afternoon, not so much. We're looking at snow, ice pellets, freezing rain, and a change to rain. This will be a messy Thursday afternoon and evening. We'll talk about that in more detail with your 7-day coming up.
All right.
Do stay tuned.
Thanks,
okay,
Ryan.
thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Researchers are helping corn growers in the Maritimes overcome challenges with quality. A recent study suggests less acid in recent years has impacted the weight of kernels. But as the CBC's Luke Ettinger reports, solutions are growing.
Less acid rain has actually posed a problem for maritime corn crops, and new research is pointing to a solution. An Agriculture Agri-Food Canada study recommends adding sulfur to improve kernel quality. In the past, producers did not have to worry about too little of the element because it was received through precipitation. But that has changed due to environmental regulations to reduce acid rain. Between 1990 and 2022, sulfur dioxide emissions decreased by 78% in Canada, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada.
We don't have the same amount of sulfur in the air that we used to have. So in the past, we look at 20 years ago, we may have received 40 kilograms per hectare from the air naturally. But now that's not the case. And that being the case, that's why we have to start making sure that we provide sources of sulfur for our crop.
The study found sulfur helps improve corn weight, which contributes to higher quality feed.
I think it's really important that this work be done regionally. So much of our information comes out of Ontario or other parts of Canada.
Perennia Food and Agriculture in Nova Scotia took part in the 5-year study.
So it's going to be a better feed ingredient for your animals. And then on the other hand, if you are growing grain corn to be able to sell it, then you're also looking for a high quality to be able to get the best price. And test weight is a really big part of that quality assessment.
McCachran says there are a growing number of fertilizers with sulfur coming onto the market, but there is an option right under farmers' noses.
It is a macronutrient, so we are seeing it become more available. Other sources would include manure, probably the best source.
McCachran says plenty of dairy farmers are already adding the accessible supply of sulfur, but chicken and hog manure may be even more beneficial. Luke Ettinger, CBC News, Halifax.
Rediscovered maps dating back more than a century have been unveiled for the first time at the Nova Scotia Museum of Natural History. The historic maps from 1876 were created by David Honeyman, the first curator of the museum. The maps mix cultural information like names of households and schools with Honeyman's geological notations. The maps took more than a year and a half to be cleaned and repaired. The museum's geology curator says they're planning to digitize the maps in the coming months so they can be available to the public online.
5 poets with roots in Atlantic Canada had their writing transformed into music this weekend to honor African Heritage Month.
That's right. The event at the Halifax Central Library was led by Nova Scotian and Poet Laureate of Toronto, George Eliot Clark.
We are an oral culture, African descended people across the globe. That's how many of our histories have been preserved. It's how we learn, how we share our language, music, something that survived through enslavement.
Our faith is our shield, our spines made of steel. We've been raised in the dark. We're strategic and patient. The spark in our eyes is pure determination. Our ancestors have put you on notification. We won't stop till you give us our full reparations.
Submerged in a font of tap water and chlorine, coddled in pink tulle and frilly socks, as if my outfits proved loyalty to God.
We recognize through the institution of Black History Month and African Heritage Month that Black people, despite our contributions, have often been repressed, suppressed, oppressed. And part of that has been the destruction of the history of our contributions. And that includes literary contributions, that includes musical contributions.
As if my outfits proved loyalty to God.
And so this is one small way of reminding everyone here in Halifax, in Nova Scotia, in the Maritimes, that there have always been Black writers, there have always been Black poets. They didn't always get published, but they've always existed.
You know, there's a legacy of music in Africville. There's a legacy of music across in North Preston, across our communities. So whenever we step on the stage and start sharing, we're really sharing back into the generations of people who survived. So I think you touch that, and you touch your ancestors, and you know the many people that survived and brought us this and shared the culture so that we can share it today.
Snowy look at Quinpool Road in Halifax. Ryan is up next with the full weather forecast. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Your full weather forecast now. Blasts of snow over the weekend, and I gather more to come.
Yes, Thursday sounds quite messy.
Thursday's definitely going to be the headliner this week. That's the day we'll be talking about quite a bit. And if you've got some travel plans on Thursday, you're going to want to make sure that you're circling back to the forecast because it's going to be one of those messy ones with snow and ice pellets and freezing rain. And those tend to be ones that take a little bit longer to nail down because timing is such an issue. How quickly we warm up. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Let's have a look at our current temperatures out there right now. And you can see -3 Tri-County area, -4 in Lunenburg and down through Western Head, actually -3 at Lunenburg now, -5 Halifax, -10s across the Northumberland shore. So pretty big differences temperature-wise today from the northeast compared to the southwest. And that is going to be the case again for Tuesday as we are going to be watching some southwest winds punching in. It's northwest winds out there right now, and we are seeing some gusts upwards of 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, as you just saw there in through the north and west. And yes, the snow over the weekend, and then this burst today that made things a little greasy for the drive home in the metro area. Bad timing, and we still got a few flurries that are one band in particular over the last hour or so, which is now pushing its way down into the metro area again for this evening. Could see a couple of centimeters locally with these bursts of flurries coming through as this trough does move through the region. We've got another trough that's basically just moving out of Moosonee and James Bay back down towards Lake Superior, and that is going to spark the flurries for Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday evening. And this is the Colorado low, which we're watching. And this Colorado low will follow the path that many do up through the Great Lakes, tracking to our west. And when that track is to the west, it tends to draw in those southerly winds, and we tend to get into that messy mix of things. That's going to be the case for Thursday. Note temperatures just 3 in Vancouver, and the chill is on across most of Canada right now. And temperatures quite mild down towards the Gulf and into Florida. Have a look at temperatures out there for tonight. We're going to be dropping into the minus 14 to 18 range for most of the province. A little bit milder here and through the Tri-County area right along the coast. Those northwest winds, 20 gusting 30 to 40. Forecast model, excuse me, doing a pretty good job of those flurries here moving out. Now for overnight into Tuesday, onshore flurries from this northwest wind. This is going to be what will drop another 2 to 5 centimeters for Inverness, north of Mabou, and then down into the Victoria County area on Tuesday if you're traveling there. And then into the afternoon, we're going to see this next burst of flurries coming in for the valley, mainly western areas of the valley, down through Digby, Yarmouth, Shelburne, and then this will push eastward through Tuesday evening, possibly dropping another couple of centimeters of snow. Highs across Cape Breton, just minus 8 to minus 10, 11. It's going to be pretty chilly for the island with those flurries in the mix for Tuesday, and winds 30 gusting 40 to 50. So wind chill values here deep into the minus teens and even near minus 20 at times. You can see eastern parts of the mainland, minus 8 to minus 10. Quite variable through central, as mild as minus 3 from St. Margaret's Bay back towards Halifax, and then towards the northeast, we're talking about highs minus 7 to minus 8 and 9, and we'll even possibly get to the freezing mark by about this time on Tuesday around supper time into the early evening. This is the trough that's bringing those flurries and the wind shift to the southwest, and then back to a northwest wind for Wednesday, though quiet with this area of high pressure in place. Minus 3 to minus 8, the range on Wednesday, again milder in through the southwest. So let's take a closer look at this Thursday system. So again, Thursday morning likely okay for the commute based on the latest timing. Snow spreads in through late morning, early afternoon, and so the drive home impacted not only from the snow, but then a mix to ice pellets and freezing rain. And by supper time, mixing over to some rain in through the south and west. Could see a prolonged period of freezing rain here with this, though, before we eventually do warm up and those temperatures bump up. A mess indeed on Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. Friday, Saturday, chilly, quiet, and another system that we're tracking for Sunday, which also might have some mixing involved. So there's a lot to keep an eye on this week, Tom and Amy.
Busy times.
Busy. Okay, thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Coming up, craft breweries in Nova Scotia say Trump's tariff threats are giving their beer business a boost.
U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff threats are boosting business for some Nova Scotia beer makers. They've seen an increase in demand for their products in recent weeks. Andrew Tanner is president of the Craft Brewers Association of Nova Scotia, as well as one of the founders of Salt Box Brewing. So what have you been hearing from your customers recently?
Certainly the feedback is that they're actively looking and sourcing local products more often than not. That's certainly a message we're receiving loud and clear.
Well, how much has business gone up in the past few weeks?
It's a bit tricky in the wintertime just because it tends to be a bit slower, but we're probably at around, I would say, 20–25%.
So that's fairly significant.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great little increase, especially during this slower time period.
Now, if demand grows further, do you think beer makers like yourself can keep up?
Yeah, I think so. I think most brewers in Nova Scotia will tell you they have capacity to keep up. That's for sure.
Now, what about changes to interprovincial trade? How would that impact brewers in Nova Scotia?
Yeah, I think people are of two minds of that, honestly. I think it's good for those that can produce enough and have marketing capacity and so on to ship externally to other provinces, New Brunswick, PEI, Ontario. I think there's a bit of caution there as well, though, in that that would also mean that those breweries can begin shipping to Nova Scotia. And so, we're always at that point of looking for more channels of distribution. We're actively working on that continually, especially lately with the Ministry of Finance Department and the NSLC. And obviously, we'd like more SKUs and more listings on the NSLC shelves. So, if we open trade barriers, does that also mean that those other products can come into Nova Scotia? So it's a bit of a tricky situation.
So what are you hearing on that in terms of craft brewing? Are you hearing any intel at all?
No, not really. Nothing substantial as of yet. Just that, and it's funny because we just had a meeting with the Minister of Finance's team on Friday, and they quite honestly couldn't comment on that because they're not sure exactly what may or may not happen there.
Now, do you expect to make a brew that's very patriotic? Is that in the works?
We've got our hands full at the moment. We do a crustacean elation lobster brew that tends to be very affectionately known around the area, and certainly the tourists that come and visit our area certainly love it. But we do other more locally based brews, like our lumberjack brew, which supports the local hockey team and so on, and obviously has a close tie to the forestry industry here in Lunenburg County. But we also do balsam blue. Now that I think about it, a tribute to the balsam fir tree growers in the area. So all kinds of fun.
Now, buy local campaigns, they're not new. How different does it feel this time around?
It certainly feels dramatically different in the sense that everybody's talking about it now. I just saw a news article this morning about Trump talking about 2 new tariffs that he does intend to apply within this 30-day period or after this 30-day period is over. So I think it is sort of staying fresh in people's minds.
And do you think people will be able to sustain that sort of buy local feel if it goes for a longer time?
I don't see why not, quite honestly. I mean, we've got enough access to, ingredients and food and all kinds of fun things. So, I don't think that's going to be too difficult for people. We made, a lot of changes as we went through COVID, and I think people are sort of adapting to the new reality.
All right. Well, Andrew Tanner, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
No worries. Have a great day. Thank you.
Coming up, Donald Trump promises 20.
Welcome back. As U.S. President Donald Trump escalates his tariff threats, the Prime Minister is meeting with world leaders at an AI summit in France.
The trip comes as Justin Trudeau works to stop punishing U.S. tariffs while also trying to diversify trade with the European Union. Ashley Burke reports.
The Prime Minister arriving at a high-profile reception in Paris during a moment of uncertainty, as Canada waits again to see if Donald Trump's latest threat is real. Trump sent his Vice President J.D. Vance to represent the U.S. on his behalf. His appearance just a day after Trump warned widespread tariffs are on the way.
Everybody, steel.
Including Canada and Mexico?
Yeah, any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
What about aluminum, sir?
Aluminum, too.
Trudeau's 5-day visit in Europe unfolding as Canada tries to diversify its trade so it's less reliant on the U.S.
Allow me for a moment, in front of an audience from every corner of the world, to be very, very proud of Canada and of Canadians.
At an artificial intelligence summit, the Prime Minister pitching Canada as the country to partner with on AI.
We have all the building blocks for the future of the world's economy. And yes, we're reasonable and always polite.
Justin Trudeau has yet to respond to Trump's latest threats, avoiding reporters just before midnight heading into his hotel.
Canada will respond if there is an executive order.
At Canada's embassy, the ambassador of France and special envoy to Europe says Canada is in talks with Denmark, standing against Trump's pledge to take over Greenland.
In order to respect international law, you don't threaten your neighbors by invasion.
Trump is also continuing to call on Canada to become America's 51st state, which Trudeau has said is not going to happen. The Prime Minister is expected to continue to speak to world leaders on the sidelines of the summit as they prepare for whatever Trump does next. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Paris.
Air Canada has admitted it had no record of a handful of passengers that took its flights in recent years. They call the incidents rare and a technological malfunction, but others call it a safety concern. The CBC's Erica Johnson has more on this Go Public investigation.
Hi, Auntie Ha.
Montreal's Yukhar Lim doesn't speak English, so her niece is helping to tell her story. Lim recently took a trip to Europe, but when she tried to check in to fly home from Budapest, learned Air Canada had deemed she didn't show up for an earlier flight on her itinerary and canceled her return ticket, standard policy amongst airlines. Except Lim says she wasn't a no-show. Her niece translates.
I was very scared and I did not know what to do.
Desperate to get on the plane, Lim shelled out almost $2,600. Later, tried to get compensation, but the airline insisted it had no record of her boarding the plane. Go Public has learned of 5 other Air Canada passengers, all also incorrectly deemed no-shows. Their return tickets also cancelled. The airline insisted that Dan Ratkoff and his family never flew to Calgary for their ski trip, despite boarding passes, even a selfie on the plane.
I think it was 3 or 4 times that I was told that I am not in Alberta and that I didn't show up at that airport.
Christopher Bailey's flight from St. John's to Vancouver was cancelled, so he sued and learned the airline couldn't even find his seat. 34A did not show on its flight manifest. An Air Canada spokesperson said these cases are extremely rare and due to a human error or technological malfunction. Incorrect flight records can be a major safety concern, say experts, who point to rare cases of aviation emergencies, like the recent crash in Washington.
People are trying to rescue those people, and if they don't know how many people are in the water, how do they know when they have them all?
An Air Canada spokesperson said safety was in no way compromised, but repeatedly declined to address what might happen in an emergency. The airline said it will reach out to the customers it incorrectly deemed as no-shows to rectify the situation and apologize. Erica Johnson, CBC News, Vancouver.
A new blockbuster in theaters is tackling a familiar premise, a human-like robot that goes bad. Magda Gabrisalasa looks at the Hollywood appeal and whether those robots are still just fiction.
Companion is a romantic thriller with a human-like robot.
It's the latest in a long list of bots on the big screen. And now humanoids are appearing in real life too.
Robots and AI that are indistinguishable from humans.
Aria, the AI-equipped humanoid, was at this electronics show in Las Vegas in January. The Canadian tech company that made her sold about a dozen like her so far.
They're really there to act as a companion. Maybe they can work for you as a concierge, a greeter at a retail store.
In North Bay, Ontario, humanoids of a different kind have popped up too.
Hi, Henry.
Canadore College is running a social robots program to interact with seniors.
I think that's a good way of, learning stuff.
Now, older adults like Henry are being trained to take the robots out into the community.
Our older adults live a very real experience of being isolated and lonely. So to have a robot operated by a human being as a way to engage with them, I think there's nothing wrong with that.
This academic studies the pros and cons of human-robot relationships. She says privacy is a consideration with the microphone and camera-equipped robots. But on the plus side is a benefit to brain health.
For children experiencing stressful situations, for families, for older adults in various living arrangements, we're seeing a lot of benefit.
But Hollywood paints a darker picture. For decades, deathbots from the Terminator to Megan have lit up screens. In reality, it's not robots we should fear, says this expert.
Need to be scared only if the person who programmed them to do something very specific that is bad.
Shut her down already. Good or bad, he says we're still decades away from humanoids walking among us. Magda Gebrselassie, CBC News, Toronto.
Parts of Newfoundland had their first major storm of the season overnight. The eastern part of the province was pummeled by heavy snowfall and strong winds. The CBC's Malone Mullen takes a look at the cleanup the day after.
Ferocious winds spiking at over 100 kilometers an hour. Residents on the Avalon woke up to a whiteout. Winds whipping falling snow into a frenzy. Visibility down to just the hand in front of you. A proper blizzard by definition, but one that quickly tapered off as the morning wore on. Grounded flights and idled buses eventually returned to service. Schools, courts, and liquor stores stayed closed for the day, though, as people in the east dug themselves out. Even by Newfoundland standards, it was a lot of digging. 41 centimeters had fallen by the end of it. Some snow piling up in deep drifts. One downtown resident wasn't overjoyed to be outside, having to figure out where to put all this snow. But in typical Newfoundland fashion, he wasn't working only for himself.
I'm shoveling out my house and my neighbor's walkway here.
That's very kind of you.
Yes. Well, it's an elderly lady that lives here, and the barber is elderly as well, so I might as well do that. Someone helped me shovel my car out, so then I just passed it on to shovel out the neighbors.
While today's snowfall didn't exactly break any records, it certainly does look impressive, and it is quite an impressive mess to have to clean up. The city says its crews are out on the roads, and they expect to have roads cleared by 1 p.m. tomorrow. It's not all hard work, though, and some smaller residents in St. John's didn't put much work in at all. Sienna Walsh spent her afternoon waiting impatiently for Dad to dig them out. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to go sledding now.
Yeah, right now, right?
Uh-huh.
Should you tell Daddy, hurry up and shovel?
Hurry up and struggle.
For a 4-year-old like Sienna, and for the young at heart, the winter's first snow day isn't all just a chore. As the sun came out, it meant snow angels and sliding instead of just sore backs. Malone Mullen, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, the summer tourism season may be months away, but stakeholders on New Brunswick's Acadian Peninsula have high hopes for a better year than the last one. Sam Farley explains.
Here in Caracat, it's not quite what you'd call the hot season. This picturesque village on the Acadian Peninsula gets most of its visitors in the summertime. Right now, most shops are closed. A However, local business owners are still getting ready for the summer when they say those tourists offer a lifeline.
Oh, this is like the gold mine, because you know, in the winter, every place is kind of slow, like January and February. But with the tourism and the festival in the summer, that's helped a lot for the business, that's for sure.
Yes, during the summer, it's a very, very busy period for us. We have around 300 visitors to 500 visitors per day. And we are open 7 days a week. And we have a lot of clients also from bar, restaurant. So there's a lot going on during summer. During the winter, maybe 1 or 2 per week.
Many of these business owners say that they're more hopeful for more tourists in the years to come. That's because the province's new tourism minister is from right here in Caracat.
We can do better. In the previous government, it was not really sensible to our people, actually, to the whole Acadie. So I think we have to revise that. I think we have to have a discussion with the stakeholders, with the operators, and verify with them how we can help them better.
While still fresh in her new role, Thériault says that New Brunswick's Acadian regions, just like this one, have more to offer.
We're like further down the province, but you know, in small places you have real gems, and that's what we have to put a light on. And in different places of the province, in different rural regions, we have gems like that. So people will be ready to come. We just have to have the right marketing in the right places.
Caracat's mayor agrees and says the province needs to be doing more to attract tourists from Quebec because they make up most of the visitors to the northeast.
So what we were complaining about is the fact that the province has stopped over the years to do more targeted promotion on Quebec for New Brunswick. And we hope that this could come back with a government that this time has a little bit more people from the northern part of the province.
Back at the distillery, Sébastien Roy says he thinks that Minister Thériault's local connections will go beyond just helping the Acadian Peninsula.
I believe not only the area, but any rural region in New Brunswick, the minister will understand the impact tourists can have, especially she's from a coastal region where there's fishing and agriculture, and those products, when we have tourists, we can sell them to tourists, and that help the whole province.
This is CBC's Sam Farley reporting from New Brunswick's Acadian Peninsula.
The Four Nations Face-Off is a big deal for hockey fans, bringing together some of the best players in the world. It is the ultimate hockey showdown, and the puck drops in Montreal on Wednesday. The CBC's Douglas Gullivan has the story.
Montreal is co-hosting the Four Nations Face-Off. It's an international best-on-best competition involving Canada, the USA, Finland, and Sweden. And while it only involves 4 countries, fans are anxiously awaiting the start of this one. Not only because it's going to be great hockey, but also because it's been a long while since Canada put its best players on the ice together.
Passes off, he shoots, he scores, Brad Marchand!
It was 9 years ago at the World Cup of Hockey in 2016. So what's behind this nearly decade-long hiatus? Well, unlike sports like soccer, which have the World Cup and things like the Euro and Copa happening every couple of years, hockey has never really had an international steady schedule of best-on-best competition. There is, of course, the Olympics, but you have to go back to 2014 in Sochi to find the last time that Canada had its best out there. After a falling out with the International Ice Hockey Federation, the NHL didn't allow its players to participate in 2018 or 2022.
Canada wins the World Cup.
And that 2016 World Cup, it was organized by the NHL itself, but the league hasn't held anything like it since. Until now, with the Four Nations Face-Off. Gary Bettman and the NHL have made nice with the IIHF, and this is seen as a bit of a gear-up for the return of NHL players to the Olympic Games in Italy next winter. Now, Montreal's been the site of a few memorable moments for Team Canada in the past.
There's the official face-off.
In the 70s, Game 1 of the 72 Summit Series was here. That was a 7-3 loss. There was also the deciding game of the 1976 Canada Cup, where the home team won the tournament with a dramatic overtime goal over Czechoslovakia. There's also been some big showdowns with the USA in this building, which was constructed in 1996.
For sure, this is done now.
In 96, the USA stunned Canada, winning back-to-back games to take the 96 World Cup. There was also the opening game of the 2004 World Cup. That time, Canada beat the US 2-1. The Four Nations face-off is being split between here and in Boston, and given the recent trade tensions and tariff tensions between Canada and the United States, on top of the return of international best-on-best hockey, these games could be extra spicy. Douglas Gellivan, CBC News, Montreal.
Retirement communities are always on the lookout for performers to visit, whether it's a musical act or a dance number.
One in Calgary welcomed a unique troupe recently that was quite a conversation starter. The CBC's Terry Trembath has the story.
Perched on top of shoulders, standing still on arm after arm of residents at the Boardwalk retirement community, nearly a dozen tropical birds attracting attention and curiosity.
I didn't know what to expect, and she asked me if I would come and hold one of the birds, and I said, well, I don't know how to hold a bird. I've never done that.
Neither has resident Kim Nesbitt.
Don't want to move, and you just, I hope I don't do anything wrong. Please don't bite me.
Nesbitt pitched the idea to invite the Calgary Parrot Club to do a presentation when she learned the group had outreach opportunities.
So we got a couple Congo African greys, just like Frost, a couple of Amazons like Tila here. On my shoulder is Kiwi. We have a couple of Conures like Kiwi. All of them are parrots. A couple of Caiques. And then, of course, Max Malakan, who's just the big Max. Max is a wonderful bird.
I thought it was a really good idea because, well, you can see how interactive everybody is.
The Calgary Parrot Club has been around for 60 years. The not-for-profit group focuses on supporting and providing resources for parrot owners.
And it's not just the residents that are benefiting from this visit. Ford said it's good for the birds, too.
It just gives them noise and different sounds and people. It's just so social for them.
Based on the smiles in the room, it's going to take a lot to top this event.
Next month, he's going to get a snake club. I don't think there'll be very many people come.
An idea that might ruffle some feathers. Terry Trembath, CBC News, Calgary.
Some breaking news for you now. Just a few minutes ago, U.S. President Donald Trump signed a proclamation imposing 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports, including those from Canada. Both the steel and aluminum sectors in this country are highly dependent on the U.S. market. To the markets, Canada's main stock index rose more than 200 points today, led by strength in the energy, base metal, and technology sectors. U.S. markets also climbed. Here's a look at the numbers as we head to commercial break. Okay, so glass half full.
Yeah.
The snow was light and fluffy this weekend,
It was.
easy to shovel.
There you go.
Yeah, see?
And coming up, it sounds like it might be icy.
Yeah.
Not so easy to shovel.
That's the half empty.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm the pessimist here.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's right. We're trading the Christmas movie snow for the snow, the ice pellets that are hitting you in the face, and although that's not coming until Thursday. So we've got a couple of days to prepare for that one. Have a look at our viewer picture of the day. This is a beautiful shot here, and we're going to zoom in just outside of New Glasgow, Pleasant Valley, and this was the scene on Friday. And
those are
some
impressive clouds.
Yeah, snow showers there. You can see the clouds bubbling up with convection there, and then you can see where the snow is falling underneath those clouds. And of course, the sun shining where Kathy Cooper took this photo. And a beautiful photo indeed. Thanks to Kathy for sharing. Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. Okay, so pretty quiet for Tuesday. Big differences in temperatures. If you're in Yarmouth in the southwest, by the end of the afternoon, it will be -1, maybe even 0. We will struggle to get to -8, 9, even 10 in the northeast, thanks to those northwest winds, which, by the way, will be gusting 40 to 50 kilometers per hour across Cape Breton. They will ease a little bit into the afternoon, but that wind will have a bite, and so a much different feel in the northeast of the province on Wednesday. Or on Tuesday, rather. Wednesday, you can see similar story, but not quite as large of a difference. -3 in through the southwest, -7 to -8 in through the northeast. So here comes that little trough that will spark some flurries late Tuesday afternoon, but it won't really impact the drive, minus maybe the Tri-County area. Then a couple of centimeters possible locally with that little trough that will move through on Tuesday night. Wednesday looks quiet. And then here comes that system that we were just talking about. Snow will spread in, mixing to ice pellets and freezing rain. It all looks set to impact Thursday afternoon's drive.
All right, thanks for that, Ryan. An adorable photo of 2 baby foxes on Newfoundland's Bonavista Peninsula is getting national recognition.
Stuart White snapped this photo of 2 young foxes playing around outside their den last spring. The picture just won a coveted spot in Canadian Geographic's annual Photo of the Year contest.
White is one of 14 photographers being featured. He says it took a while to capture that winning moment and had to wait for hours outside their den to get a glimpse of the playful pups.
And they do look playful, don't they? That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.